Thank you, everyone. So I know already take a life from East Vancouver, so I've been volunteering there a bit, a few days, and I made the same presentation to them. So thank you to welcome me, and I hope you will have enough energy to listen what I want to share with you, because it was quite a struggle to come. I come from kids, and with that weather it's not always a pleasure, but it's a pleasure to be here anyway, so thank you so much. Especially that I made 10,000 kilometers before, so you know, I'm not doing that only for me, actually, mostly for people, because I want to share, you know, like I want to bring a change into the society because we need it. And I will go through that with my presentation. So please have enough energy to listen carefully, and I will try to be brief, but it's hard to explain, to share as much as I want in a short time, so I'll do my best. Sorry for my English sometimes, you know, I speak French in Belgium, so sometimes my words are quite like wrong accent. So I built a project called Share by Bike. I will explain you what I do with Share by Bike. So you can find the website later, you can find the social networks. So I'll explain you why I built all that. So maybe you don't know where Belgium is. Europe, West Europe here, the tiny country here between France, Holland, Germany. So I'll show you after where I've been, just to like that you know where I've been living for most of my life. And after high school 10 years ago, already I'm 29 now, I went to, what's that country? Australia, of course, with the kangaroos. So I spent a year over there. So my dad said, okay, you finish high school, just travel a while, you know, like leave us alone. So I was like, okay. And Australia seems a good place to go because we have some special visas. I mean, like Canada has with Europe, I guess, working holiday visa. So you can stay for a year or a bit more and work there, so you can work and travel. So that's what I did in Australia for a year. I've been all around to Australia, and I've been like all around, but mostly by car that time. I was younger, so I didn't realize my impact on our planet and on others. So great experience, of course, human experience and all, I mean, adventure and everything else. So what happened usually after you finish high school? You go to university, you work, you try to work actually. So that's what I did. I followed the same way than everybody else because that's the only thing I knew. So I just, you know, made a training in computing. So all IT, so I was managing the technical part. And I worked for about 6 years, and I made a building, I made some flats, so I made all new by myself with my dad and some workers. So I made 3 of them. Then, you know, it is like you work, like so much work, and then sometimes you go to holidays, like somewhere in the world or in your country. Then parties with a friend, you know, like just try to enjoy as much as you can, but most of the time you have to work. That's how it works. So after a while, I just got my job because in the beginning I was really busy with that project. It took me like 4 years to finish it. So from the time I bought the building and I finished the flat, it took me about 4 years because I did as much as I can by myself because money, you know. So that's what I did, and it was so busy. And I made also a bachelor in not university but lower degree in energy and environment. Maybe that's what bring me here. So after a while I got more time for me because only work, you have like 40 hours a week, like almost like school. So what I did is like I took that time to improve myself, to look around and try to understand how it works. So I read a lot, I mean mostly on internet. I'm like, you know, I've been working in IT, so I was always on the computer, and there's so much information on the internet, and you can connect with people, you know, like Facebook. Facebook can bring you good information, but it can also bring you bad information depending who you are connected with and what you want to follow. So Facebook is like working and pushing you some information that you usually follow. So I'm connected with a lot of networks over the world now, But before I already started in Belgium, I was like, oh, there is a conference there about this, there is a meeting and forum like that where you exchange with people and you make some small groups and you talk together and you exchange and try to bring some different ideas. And then, so you make something called networking. Networking is on, of course, networks like Facebook or social network. It could be also like human networks. So networking is like connecting with people. It's really important because if you want to work together, like collaboration, if you want to work together in the class, you have to know each other because you don't know who you can work with in a better way. So in the society, it's the same. So I made that a lot, and like YouTube, you know, like you do so much videos to learn so many things. So I watch on many topics, and I made a network called Transition Network, which use permaculture that you heard about. So I'll tell you about that later. So I took 5 main topics. There is a really nice French movie that talks about that. It's called Tomorrow, and it brings a lot of good energy to people, and they're like, oh my God, we can do so much things, let's do it. Like the community gardens, you know, agriculture. So agriculture for the food, democracy for our societies, the governments, basically with the politicians, you know. Education, here, energy, we need energy, and economy, money, okay, basically. So, you know that kind of agriculture, I guess, that's what money tries to bring over the world, because that's a way to make a lot of money. You have tractors, so you can sell tractors, you can sell chemicals to grow the food faster, and then, you know, you cut all the trees to have more space, and that's it. So they focus on money, but they don't care about environment, they don't care about other people, and I'm sure you know some of the problems that this kind of agriculture brings. Coal farms, for example, with the factories, so it's like really industrial process. So like really try to be efficient and produce a lot, because we are 7.5 billion on the planet, and we try to produce a lot with reducing the cost, so to make a lot of money at the same time. But the quality of that agriculture is really bad, because we give a lot of medicines to the cows, and look where they live, like they are all together, a lot of sick illness and stuff like that. The same for plants. So we have a different kind of agriculture, and I'm sure with the permaculture class that you made, maybe it was short, but still, from something weak, you can rebuild the natural process, natural ecosystems. Try to, actually. So a lot of plants, a lot of kind of plants, because it's like when you are in a class, for one, if you have to work on something, you are stronger if you work together than if you work alone. It's the same for the plants. If the plants are they are close to each other, they can bring some protection to each other, and they are stronger together, and many other things, of course. Some people do that in the city. They try to relocate the food production in the city, because in the city, where is your food coming from? It's mostly coming from outside. So if there is no petrol, where is your food coming from? You don't have food anymore, so you have to leave the city. So we are really close to a collapse of energy, because petrol is not unlimited, and everything is depending on petrol and fossil energies. So the transition network I told you about, they try to disconnect from that dependency on fossil energies. So they try to relocate the food production. You can have community gardens like you have here, or urban farming. So some farmers, they do that in the city. They try to produce the food in the city, because we can. So of course you have to try to work with the city to say, okay, can I do that over there, or you know. So, but they do that in England. All over England you can find these kind of things, and many countries over the world. There is a network called Incredible Edible Network. So they do that in the street mostly, and then they try to also do some community gardens. That's a kind of farm in France. So same climate than here. So we can do that in this climate. Okay, some greenhouse for the winter, or we can develop some other things like earthship. Like there are many ways to do that. But just to show a different kind of farming compared to before. You remember with only one kind of plant. Look here, the trees to protect the area from the wind. Then connected with the plants, because we don't realize that the trees are really important in a farm. So try to relocate and be smaller than huge, you know, because when it's too big, you cannot manage it all by yourself. So it's much stronger, and they can make as much as money that you make in a big field, you know. That's a project I've been to in India. So it was only coconut before. Just imagine there was nothing before. There was only the coconut trees. You can see here the coconuts, and the trees here. So you can see the row of trees like this. Okay, and there was nothing before. And his dad was like, he was using chemicals, fertilizers. And he was like, I cannot keep going that way. It's like, you have to pay for the chemicals. And it's like usually more and more money because efficiency. So more you use chemicals and more the quality of the soil decrease. So if the soil is becoming really weak and you destroy all the elements of the soil. So he said, I cannot do that anymore. So like permaculture, he followed the principles of edible forest, so to try to have all the level of plants. You can see one big tree, big trees, small trees, some plants on the trees, growing on the trees, then some plants on the floor, you know, like different levels. So just to rebuild all the ecosystem. And now, the biggest job he has to do is harvesting. Only harvesting, sorry. So you can choose to only have coconut, or you can have like 100 species like he's got right now. He's got about 100 species of fruit and vegetables. So from one, he went to 100. So you can see the gap. And it's much stronger because he doesn't have to do it. He's got less work to do. And animals come back, new species of plants come back by itself. It doesn't have, more is working that way, less he has to do. So just different way to work. From destroying, like cutting all the trees like we were doing before without wondering what's going to happen. Some countries it still happens. If you look in Asia and Europe, Eastern Europe, they cut the trees, they don't replant the trees. So they are losing all the forest. And rivers go away because the water is not staying anymore. Because, like I said, we don't realize the importance of trees, even if we know it. The scientists, if you look, you can know the importance of the trees. But for the air, for the water, for the soil, for many things. So I'm not gonna tell you all the details, but just to see the difference, we can rebuild nature. We can help nature to reborn. So we can destroy it, or we can rebuild it. So it's just a choice. This was another project I visited in India, and they do the same. So they reforest the area. It's a governmental land, and they reforest it, and they live on it. So they have huts made from the bamboo. They have electricity they made by themselves, and so on. So like they live in a sustainable way on the land, and they reforest it in the same time. So you can volunteer there. It's like tropical weather, of course. Democracy. You know what's democracy? Like when you will have to vote and vote for your politicians. So I took this image because many politicians, they say something, okay? They say something, but they are different, okay? So it's like, we will make a great country, like Trump now is like going crazy. But it's the same with Trudeau in Canada, it's the same in Belgium, it's the same almost all over the world. They say something, but they don't especially do it because they are controlled by money. Money controls politicians a lot. They say, do this, I'll give you a lot of money and do that for the country. So the money push the country to do some things to make more money. So that's the kind of world where we live. We vote for some people, they don't especially work for the people. So that's kind of things happening I'm pretty sure it happened also in Canada when there are some protests. The police protect the governments also against the people that protesting for something. We disagree with what you're doing, like for the Dakota Access Pipeline and pipeline here in Canada. I don't remember the name, but
Morgan.
Sorry?
Kinder Morgan.
Yeah, exactly. So they protest also, and that's kind of things happen also. So we try to protect our environment because it's the most important thing that we need to survive as a species. we are humans, we need nature to survive. We need food, and food is coming from nature, and also each other. So the kind of democracy that we live. Do you know what means democracy? Yeah?
Where it's a bunch of people having a say in something.
So democracy means power to the people, basically. Okay? And do you think that we have the power to manage our country? Do you think that if you disagree with something, I mean, if we disagree with something, we can say what we think about it, and we can ask to change it?
You can ask, but it won't necessarily happen.
Yeah, exactly. So for me, it's not really, I mean, for many people, it's not really a democracy. So usually before, like centuries ago, we could control the politicians. People, the citizens, had the control on the politicians. So usually, like, don't look and don't say anything. That's why I put that picture. Anyway, some French guys made an app to try to change that kind of democracy. Try to participate in the democracy. So you can use the app to give some new propositions and vote for it. You see? So just to give a different kind of project like with new technologies, and there are a bunch of other ways to do that, to change the democracy, like vote and I use that one. So like again, we can make some meetings and try to bring some new rules and try to change what's not going in a good way, and then work together and vote together. So we participate in democracy. Education, it's been like century or more, and the education is still the same way. You have to listen to your teacher and stay in the class like that. You know it is. That's why, I mean, I went to this kind of education before. I didn't go to a different kind of education, and it was like such a struggle for me too, because I was like, why am I here? Why am I here? Now I know it, because I have the knowledge to understand why I went to school, but is it in the good way that we share with the youth and with the kids? Because usually, like, listen and don't give your opinion. I tell you what's the truth. What is the history? What is the, So the history, it's usually not the real history. I didn't know that the World War was because of money. It's all a business. War is a business. They didn't tell me that at school. If you look on it, if you look what's the economy, you will see that it's like a big cheat, and they cheat on everyone, So, I mean, you can learn a lot of things through internet again. So, nature is like a book, okay? So there is something called biomimicry. So you learn from nature. For example, how is the bird like flying, and then you can make planes, you can make like new clothes, and from sharks. There are so many technologies coming from nature. And what we mostly do with nature now is we use it as a resources. We use it and burn it. So if you take nature if you compare nature to a book, we use the book and we burn it. I mean, we use the book to burn it and not to read it. So nature is knowledge. You can learn so much from nature because it's millions of years of evolution. And now we are using nature to burn it. We destroy it everywhere. We destroy the forest, we destroy everything, and we don't try to understand how it works. We are all using the nature in the same way. So it was an example. That's made by nature, that's made by humans. And you have all these kind of things on you. It's the processor in your phones, in the projector, in the computer, and for many other purposes. So from this kind of technology, so a new kind of processor, it's billions of dollars. But nature make it for free, without that much pollution that we are making to produce that. So we can make like nature, but we can also do it the same way than nature. But we just have to try to understand. And that's a lot of work. So there are a lot of work to do. A different kind of education. That was a project in India. The kids are free, and we are just there to try to guide them. Like here, we are much more free than in usual schools. And you know it. I'm pretty sure. Maybe you don't realize that how bad it was, the school. I mean, it could be worse for many students. You have much more freedom here, even if you have to do some push-ups. You have much more freedom here. You can go I see most of the time you go outside and you're not supposed to, but because we are here to share and try to bring you further, to give you the chance to have a better life. So school could be bad or better, so another project in India also, it's in the Himalayas, in the mountains, so it's like minus 20, 30 in the winter. And the campus is all sustainable. They produce the electricity. They use the sun to warm up the buildings. So the light, sun for the light, to protect the cows because they have cows on the campus, to heat the water, make the electricity, cook with the sun also with some mirror. Maybe you saw that before. Greenhouse to produce the food. And then they pump the water from the river with the electricity they produce. So the youth, they are like 17, 18 years old. Usually that's the youth going there, they usually fail in the usual schools. And what this campus is giving to them is another chance to learn and practice through learning and living. So they live for a year in the campus all together, and they have to manage the campus. They are adults only to try to keep it working well, But like the other project, they're only there to guide them, to help them to go further. So they learn by living and by experiencing. So science, computing, radio, food production. They transform food. They produce the food. They make electricity. So they learn how to sustain themselves. Because in this kind of area, I can tell you they need it. In the middle of in the mountains, like 2 days by car, away from the first big city, So, and otherwise you have to take a plane to get there. So it's really hard to access there, but there are ways to survive by ourselves. We don't always need this big development in this area. They have more problems now than before because of capitalism. So our development, So, because of global warming, what is global warming, I guess, right? They don't have water anymore during some period of the year because the snow is not coming too much during the winter, or it's melting too fast, or, so they don't have enough water during the summer or a bit before the summer. So what they did, they made artificial glaciers. So the campus made this.
A blank Word document? Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know what. Somebody's connected to the computer. Okay, whatever. That's weird. Who's connected to the computer?
Must be in a different room.
So
I'll just go do a check.
I'm gonna disconnect Wi-Fi and then it's done. Where is the Wi-Fi? Whatever. Who's playing with me?
Snow is so much outside.
Nah. So basically they take the water from the river, they bring it through a pipe, and they made a glacier like that during the winter. So during the following month, they still have water because it takes a lot of time to melt, because ice takes more time than snow, and they solve their problems of water. But just imagine they have to make that to have enough water for the following month. Otherwise, they don't have anymore, and they have to buy it. Do you know where is that? It's in Canada, to help you. Someone know?
Like Alberta or something.
Yeah, Alberta. What close to? Last year there was a fire, a big fire all the forest burned. Big part.
Fort McMurray.
Yeah, exactly. So, and they do that for what? What they get there? Oil, exactly, from the sand. So it's like a really expensive and polluting process. Much more than the usual way to get petrol. So before we just take it from the ground, but now because it's becoming harder and harder to get enough petrol, we do that. So they export a lot of petrol, and that's why they want to make the pipeline to export to Europe and all over the world in an easier way. So this is coal factory, but so just to see, like, we are still living like ages. It's like middle age. This is like middle age, you know, like we have better technologies to produce electricity and energy, and we are still working with coal and oil and all that stuff. Why? Why are we working with this middle age technologies? Someone know?
Because it's the cheapest and easiest to use.
Actually, no, not the cheapest, not anymore. Before, yes, but now it's like more expensive than ever anyway. And the cheapest, and what was the other point?
Cheapest and the easiest to use.
And easiest neither. I mean, look, you don't even imagine how they have to do that. They have to take it, heat it up, to take the oil from the sand because it's mixed to the sand. Before you just took it from the ground. Now is, I mean, a big part is like that. And why we do that? Because you can make a lot of money and people want petrol. And coal, same. Another point?
I was going to answer the question, like, they don't do the other ways because they're not going to make money.
You know, they don't care about the effects. They care about making money. So the main point is making money, no matter what happens. So I don't know what world you want to live in, but I don't want to live in a world like that. And just imagine all the pollution behind. So the Aboriginal, they fight for that because the water is polluted. They cannot drink water anymore. And with the fire happened last year because it was hard to control, and it's harder to control than ever because the temperatures, so global warming. Because if the temperatures outside are warmer than usual, it's harder to control the fire because the fire is becoming stronger and stronger. So that's why they couldn't control it. It was 15 degrees higher than usual. Nuclear power plants. Look at the quantity. You don't have much in Canada. It's most on East Canada. But look at US, look at Europe, look at India and Asia. And we are all impacted by that. All over the world, we are impacted by that. No matter where it happens. If it happened like last time in Fukushima, we still have the effects of Fukushima right now in the oceans. There is a leak, and the radioactivity is going to the ocean. And like changing the cells, so the body of the animals is changing, and all nature is changing because radioactivity. That's what happened with radioactivity, you know. So now there is still a leak, and it's going, and okay, no problem. We don't care. Money, we got the money, so now we don't really care anymore. So there is a lot of problem, and it costs a lot. And in Belgium, France, look the number just for France. So what happened is that these power plants are getting really old, and we don't know what to do with it. And we don't know what to do with the waste. We cannot treat the waste. We are just putting them somewhere and hope that nothing will happen to it. So just we can make money, so who cares, you know? But look at Chernobyl, look at Fukushima, and it could happen more. You know, look how many we have. That's the total for the world, and they expect to do that, like double. So we have different kind of energy. It's not the best. I mean, this is the best we can do right now, but we can do better because it's still many problems, but it's better than having radioactive waste and like maybe all die. So different kind of renewable energies. This is unlimited. Sun is unlimited. Geothermy, so from the ground is always warmer than outside. I mean, it depends on the temperature outside, but right now the ground is warmer than outside the temperature. So it's about like all year it's about 10 degrees. So, and if you go deeper, it could be like even more. So you can do that everywhere, but of course the quality is different. You can do from plants. You can produce gas. You can produce temperature. So compost. Maybe you did some compost, or you talked about it. I don't know. But with the compost, only with the compost, you can make energy. You can make gas. You can put a pipe into your compost and have warm water if you want for free. And you can use the compost for the plants. So give it back to the nature. Hydro, so like in BC, most of your electricity is coming from hydropower. So the dam and rivers and whatever. Wind and sun. Sun, you know already here. So you can also buy the energy together. We will together and we will buy together some energy, so we are free. We don't depend on government. We don't depend on corporations. So like opposite, like of course green, like, and gray, it's like better but not the best. What about the waste? Have you ever wondered how much waste you make for a year at home or at school or wherever? Just look for a week or for a day. Just collect it and say, wow, I made all this garbage for the day or for the week or for the month, and try to make it better. So some people do that for a year. That quantity of waste for a year. You can also make no waste. Some people living in the nature, they don't make any waste. Non-organic waste I'm talking about. So this is not organic, and you have to burn it or maybe recycle, but not for sure. So the best is to reduce. Then you reuse, and then you recycle. But recycling is not unlimited either. It depends what it is. There is a guy from Holland. He made a project to clean the oceans, because all the garbage that we have over the world, a big part of the garbage are going to the oceans with the wind, with the rivers, and so on. So he made that project, some tower in the oceans, and collecting with the currents to bring the garbage, and then it's collecting there. So you can make money like that. We can make money to solve the problems also. So we are living in an economy where we are controlled by money, most of us. Then the government, controlled by money. Then you have cultural groups trying to also give their point of view and controlling, So then you have the police protecting them, like I said. They used to protect the people. That's what they usually do. But also they protect the monarch, the people in power. So you have the middle class, and then you have the lower class. So the people who make money enough to live in a good way. And then you have the people working so much, but they still struggle to survive. So I don't know about you, but still I don't want to live in that kind of world. So the way we work, like I said, we take all from nature. So like the book, we take the books and we burn them, So rather than reading. So we use the resources, the oil, the gas, the steel, the wood. The wood we can replant it, but still. And we use energy, petrol mostly, to transform, to use. We buy in the shop, and then we just throw it away. We recycle in the best way. So this is a linear economy. We just take and use and burn, and just throw away. Here, just to realize that all the things you buy every day, every week at least, you have the choice to buy from some people who try to change these things that I told you about. Coca-Cola, I've been to India. Coca-Cola, they take water from India, and people don't have water anymore neither, because they don't care. Oh, we will bring you some jobs, but we take all the water from the ground, and people around don't have water anymore. So when you buy Coca-Cola, that's why you buy for what's you pay for, sorry. But you also pay for the health problems that you can have, and all the sugar and all the problems that you have with this kind of drinks. It's just an example to say that every time when we pay for something. It's like a vote. So you pay for a kind of world or a different kind of world. So we have to act different when we buy, because it's really important. And this is our future, and our present also. So I told you about the agriculture, but like I said, money. So money is the main point. So we sell chemicals, we sell tractors, and one kind of plants usually. So you maybe heard about Monsanto, and Monsanto has been by a company in Germany producing drugs. So Monsanto, previously sell you all that and make you sick, because that kind of agriculture make you sick with the chemicals. When you eat all the non-organic food, your health is, and you can get cancers. many farmers get cancers because they have to work all the time with these kind of products. And we have much more cancers in our societies, in our countries, because we use so much, we buy so much food from this kind of agriculture. So what they do is like, they sell you something to make money, and then they sell you something else to try to make you better when you are sick. So you can get cancer or a different kind of illness, and then you take some drugs to try to get rid of it.
Did you say that Monsanto has been purchased by major
Yeah,
pharma?
it's called Bayer.
Wow.
So I don't know if it's, I think it was done, it was a few months ago, B-A.
Oh, I know about, yeah, Bayer.
Yeah,
B-A-U-E-R.
yes,
Yeah,
yeah, Y-E-R.
yeah.
So I think it has been done.
Okay.
So now they control the food production, I mean a big part of the food production, which is now decreasing. Monsanto like minus 25% last in 2015, I think. So farmers try to get rid of that now in India and all over the world because we know the problems. So they control both ways. Like they try to sell you food and try to sell you drugs. Personally, I don't take drugs. I mean, as less as possible. That was on my way in Turkey, in India. That's all garbage. They don't have any protection. There is no regulation to control the waste in these countries. And maybe they are, but no one cares. So it was like that in Canada before, and look how it is now. We have collect, like nice collect. They not supposed to do that in Canada, but maybe they still do in some places. But most of it, we are not doing that. In Belgium, it was the same before. So we have the power to change that. And in our countries, we did it, but not in India, in Turkey, and many other countries. Like most of non-Western countries, they don't do that. They still do that. I mean, kind of agriculture in Turkey, so just different kind of pollution. So that's a bird. I guess you got it. It's I think a kind of seabird. It was an island close to here. Maybe you saw that picture before. There is a video I'll show you. So what's inside? Trash, yes. Waste, like different kind of waste. So here, just a short video. Ah, come on. The desktop disappeared.
You can get it back from, if you go to computer,
Yeah.
then desktop, if you click on the computer icon,
And the desktop, I guess.
yeah, you need to have, yeah, you can't connect to the network
No, it's okay. It's okay.
unless this, what is it, that needs to be,
It needs to be connected. That's
Yeah.
why I disconnected to be.
yeah, so if you connect it again,
Which one is it?
uh,
Top one.
yeah, it needs to be on the network.
Wow.
Whatever. Anyway.
Yeah.
Can do it. So basically, just to show, that's a guy who went to an island and he captured these videos, opened the burst to see what was inside, and you can see all the garbage. And look at that on the island. So this island is 2,000 miles away from humans. There is no humans on that island. And look all the garbage. So like I told you before, like many garbage are going to the oceans, and then they go to the islands, and then the birds eat the fish and all kind of animals. And what happened when the garbage are in the sea? Do you know what's happening after? Like, you have a big plastic bottle. What happened to the plastic bottle after a while? Sorry? Yeah, also, I guess, yeah, of course.
Breaks down a little bit that chemicals.
Yeah, also, so the components are going, like the chemical components are going to the water also, yeah.
Are we talking in regards to animals?
No, just what's happening to the plastic bottle, like by itself. Like the plastic, if you leave it in the water, what happens?
It floats. It floats.
Yeah,
Nothing
Yes.
really happens.
but after a while, it becomes, like, it's breaking, like becoming smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller, and like really tiny pieces.
Erosion.
Maybe you heard about, yeah, kind of. And what happens is all kind of animals can eat it, even plankton. So plankton is really small. So all kind of animals can eat it after a while. And I don't know about you, but maybe you eat fish.
Oh,
And
salmon.
and the fish is coming from oceans or rivers, or so you eat some plastic and all the chemicals into the fish, and like heavy metals and many pollution. So if you look, like usually fish are really polluted also. I mean, they have inside themselves a lot of bad pollution anyway. So just to realize, in India they throw all the garbage everywhere because they don't know what's happening if they do that. They don't realize. They just don't realize. It's crazy, I can tell you. Like anytime, anywhere, you take the train, by the window, and they use a lot of plastic. So like plastic and many garbage. They sell some food in the train. They buy by the window. Okay, I'm done. And you're like, oh my God, why do you do that? You want to tell them, you want to explain them, and try to, oh my God, please stop. You are harming yourself. I mean, and all the world in the same time, because all the plastic is going to the rivers after and again. So you're like, oh my God, I want to, I'd like to change the world, but we cannot like straight away change the world. So we have to work. So that's what kind of things that are happening, and if we work, we can change it. So I'm not going far with that, just to show like this is our world basically, and we try to have more, because more population, the black line, and more population we have, and more people we have who want to have more things, car, house, and so on, like television, phones, and so on. We just have more things produced. So we use more, so we get more. So we are in a world where we call that a growing economy. So we try to have more. That's the only way to work, to have more. But we are depending on resources. So we have something happening, it's called collapse of the system. If you try to get more from something limited, if we have 10 apples together and we just eat apples, and we have to survive with these apples, we're gonna die. So we have to plant apple trees, for example. So we are not specially planting apple trees. We are just eating apples, and we don't care about what's gonna happen. And now, the collapse of the services already happened a few years ago, and industrial output also. So the crisis, the economical crisis, bring that. So now we are already around here. It was by 2030. So I don't know what's going to be the future. No one knows. But we have the power to change that and try to make it better. And I can tell you, if you study these kind of things, like it's called collapsology, if you look at that, there is a really nice documentary on National Geographic. It's called Year of... oh my God, I don't remember now. I'll give you the name after. But if you look at that, you're like, oh my God, we're all gonna die. The war in Syria. Who know why there was a war in Syria? The real reason.
I think it was oil.
That's that's just an economical reason. But there was another reason before. Why the people started to make revolution? There was a civil war before we start to go there for the petrol. Global warming.
Wasn't it for like alcohol or something?
For?
Wasn't it like alcohol or something?
Alcohol? Alcohol?
Yeah.
No. Maybe alcohol came into that. But usually they have alcohol even if it's forbidden. I've been to Muslim countries, and even if it's forbidden, they still have alcohol. You cannot stop people to have what they want. Anyway, The problem was global warming. So they have a big drought. You know what's a drought? Yes?
It's where basically the temperatures are so hot that all the water either evaporates or
Yeah.
soaks into the ground.
Basically, yeah. So they were farming in a big part of Syria. They were farming a lot of. They were farming, and then there was no water anymore for a few years, and they had to move to the city, and the infrastructure was not well done to have all that kind of people, like 100,000 of people move to the city. And the government didn't care. They were like, oh, we don't care. And then they start to make a protest against the government. And that's all how it started. So global warming can also affect like people. Of course it affects people. And then we make civil wars if the government don't want to change. So we try to get more, we don't care about the results. Global warming and so on, it's like we try to have more, but planets react the same way with the problems. Because we don't work with nature. So basically you can see that temperatures are going higher and higher and higher. For the last few years, you can see the evolution. It's getting, every year is warmer than usual. Here, North Pole, it took 100 years to melt this quantity of ice. It took 10 years for the same quantity. And what's going to be the next? If it's 100, then 10, how much is going to take to melt the same quantity? It's an exponential in mathematics. So 100, 10.
1 year.
1 year, exactly. Divided by 10, divided by 10, divided by 10. So that's how it's supposed to be. It doesn't mean it's going to be like that. But I don't know for you, but that's quite scary. And even the scientists are like, oh my God, what's going to happen, And this year is like the North Pole is like fracking, because it's moving. Because it's melting too much. And it's like becoming crazy. So who knows what's going to happen, but it's a really bad situation. So we can work in a different way than just making more money, making more. We can share more. Because we have, look at Craigslist. How many things we can get from Craigslist for free? We can exchange. Stop. Why we buy so much new stuff all the time? We don't need to always have more. Look, I'm traveling for a few years on my bicycle. I cannot get more. I cannot carry it anyway. And I'm not like sad or anything. I'm truly happy. I don't need more. I started in Belgium. I get rid of my stuff because I want to live somewhere else. And I was like, wow, I feel better. I have less. I feel better. Because I don't have to care about my car. I don't have to care about my stuff. Because I have less. I have less to care about. And I don't need that to be happy. So we can share so much more. We can, work together also. So, produce organic food, sell it in the city, cycle more. It's just an example, but basically work together. Okay. Whatever. It was just some examples. That's weird, but it's called upcycling. So you take what you have around you and you try to transform it. I'm sure you did some kind of stuff like that. Try to reuse what you have. So bamboo, you can make a light. You can make some seats, some chairs with some tires. Upcycling. And I'm sure it costs a lot. So we can make some money with that. So many of international networks I work with, I share also because I'm working with this one. I told you about Incredible Edible, Zero Waste. I told you about that one. Slow travel. That's what I'm doing. I try to experience my travel rather than taking a plane. So you see here different kind of economy. That's what I wanted to show. Like we can work, even the factories, they can work together. This is called a cycle economy. Make, use, return. So some waste can be used by someone else and so on. That was in Amsterdam. In Europe, they do a lot of, in North Europe, they try to develop a lot of these kind of things, and they've been working on that for a while now. Use the paper to make a bin and so on. I mean, we can make everything if we want. Just create, art. I'm sure you do some art also here. Shelters. We need shelters. We need a house. What's the cost for a house in Vancouver? Do you know?
A lot. 1.2.
Yeah, a lot, yeah. Huh?
1.2 mil.
For a single family home, it is.
Yeah. Basically, about $1 million. That's crazy.
Like 2 bedrooms, too.
Yeah, exactly. That's crazy. Who can afford that? I cannot even afford that. So some people in Vancouver.
All I need is a small loan of $1 million.
Yeah, try to make it. So you can connect with people. So some people try to buy lands together. So together we are stronger. So let's buy a land together and make a building on it together. You can also, there is a group in Vancouver called Tiny House Vancouver. I met them and they are like international. So it's like, it started in the US in 2008 because of the crisis. Tiny house movement. So basically, like, I have a small house, it costs about less than $100,000, so 10 times more. And you don't need the land. You just ask for the land of someone, try to be somewhere, and you pay just for the electricity and what you need, water or whatever. You can be also sustainable. You can make your electricity, you can try to make your food, a bit outside, of course. Just different kind of housing. Natural building. That's all natural except the windows, basically. The windows you can make with natural resources. It's not like that polluting, but bamboo, stone, mud, and it's still there for the last, 20 years, I think. Europe, in Europe and in Canada also you do these kind of things. All over the world we have some more natural buildings, for wood and so on. So I told you about this. You can find them on my website, on the news page. I share a lot of this networks. And I told you about the transition network we use. It started in England 10 years ago, and now look how much we have over the world. And they try to change the society. They try to get rid of petrol. They try to be in communities and work together, to solve the problems that we face. So basically, permaculture, you heard about, we take care of nature, we take care of each other, and we share. We share the resources. So I'm done with the, oh my God, we're gonna die and all the bad things, and we have solutions. So you got that we have solutions to change all the problems that we face. And millions of people work over the world to bring that change, So myself, I realized that because I just looked for it. I realized, oh my God, there are so many people working for that and doing this amazing projects over the world. Even in Vancouver, you have so many community gardens and stuff. It's not like that everywhere, It's like you are really lucky to have all that stuff, but you need also some improvement, So let's change. And we need time for that, Just take one day. School, for you school, okay? Job, school, whatever. Sleeping, so you have only 1/3 of your day for yourself. Just imagine, 1/3 of your life.
Well, I'm going to change that now.
So you can take that time to try to maybe make it better. I quit my job. Because I don't want that kind of life. My life now is all that. And this is my job. I'm free. I can work with people to try to bring that change. I'm trying to inspire people to do that because we can. And after, I'm on my way to Nicaragua, I'll show you after. And then sleep, of course, we don't have the choice. But time is very important. So live a life less ordinary. Don't follow each other. Just do what you feel. What you feel is the most important. Follow your heart. And you will find a way to make the best thing you can. So I left Belgium 16 months ago now. With that cycle. I've been from Belgium through Europe, Turkey. I stayed 3 months in Turkey. Then I went to Georgia, Armenia, Iran. It's not dangerous. Don't listen Trump and all these friends. But Iran was a great experience, I can tell you. People are so friendly. You can find just look on YouTube, Iran experience or something like that. You will see that people are amazing. And there don't have many people there. Like all the north of the Himalayas, it's great people. I mean, I met some guys that have been cycling there. It's amazing. Then I've been to, I took a flight because Pakistan was hard to, it was a problem to get the visa. So I just like took a flight because I didn't have much time. I don't want to spend 10 years on the way. So I just took a flight and I cycled the north to Myanmar. I couldn't go to Myanmar because of paper, yeah. And I went back, and then I've been by the south, to the south by train. I've been to the north, like I told you, Himalayas. So that's why I've been for 7 months in India. Then I came here last month, 1st February. I stay 6 months, and I'll go to Calgary, Whistler, Calgary, come back here. That's my plan, actually. Maybe I'll change.
How long did it take?
To cycle, or like all together?
Like all together.
So altogether it's 16 months now. But I cycled about 10,000 kilometers. So I make an average of 75 kilometers a day. So it's about 5 months cycling on 16 months. But I've been 7 months in India, 3 months. I mean, I can make it longer if I want. Just depending on the visa, that's the biggest problem. Otherwise you are pretty free, especially from Western countries. If you are from India, it's more difficult to come to Canada rather than Canada to India. You know, people struggle so much to get some visa for Canada or for Europe, or because we try to protect our land, you know, like we are so selfish. You know? It's like from Latin America to North America. So now it's going to be about, I don't know, maybe 2 years from here. So I want to be already there. You know, I want to go to Nicaragua. So I will cycle down by the coast of US. Somebody told me to go there on that part of Mexico and then go to the main part of Mexico and down to Nicaragua. About 2 years I think. But I don't know. I'm free, so I can. If I want to go faster, I can. But you know, I can share so much with people. So I want to do it. I have to do it. Otherwise, we will never bring that change. You know, if you don't tell people, we can change it. You know, we have so much problems, but we can change it. If you listen to television, it's like, oh my God, some people have been killed. Trump did that today, or whatever, and then like, oh my God.
What did Trump do?
I just watched a TV show, and you know, like, oh my. So we can change all the problems we face. If we don't have a shelter, we can get a shelter. We can make shelters even in Vancouver. You know, we can change everything if we want to. We just need to know it. And that's why school bring you the possibility to do it. Because we try to help you to realize that if you want something, you just need to work for it. And that's maybe the most important thing that my guide told me, you know. So I told you about couch surfing. I never been in a hotel for the last 16 months. Even in Vancouver, I never paid for a single day to stay somewhere. Because people help me, and I try to give that back to people and wherever I can. So I don't make any money for what I'm doing. Before I was working, I saved some money. I made some crowdfunding. I don't know if you know what is crowdfunding. You know what is crowdfunding? No? It's
basically where you just get a bunch of people to help you by donating money out of the goodness of their heart.
Exactly. So for any kind of projects, you can do that. If you produce something, or if you just have a project that you can share with people, you can give something back. But even if it's like videos, people don't care. They try to help you with any amount of money, and you try to give as much as you can. A T-shirt, I gave some T-shirts, I give some postcards, I give some videos, I give some pictures, and I spend some time with people. They give me a shelter, and I try to do whatever I can. I make some dishes, I help for computers, I don't know, whatever I can, I do it. I bring some food, whatever. So about like more than 100 people hosted me over the world for 1 day, 2 days, a week, 1 month sometimes. And then, you know, like hundreds of people. You can find a picture on my website. And like permaculture said, you can, try to bring, to build something permanent for the future. Try to work to sustain yourself, but in a long-term view. So if you want electricity, you can get it from the plug, but you don't know where the electricity is coming from. Or you can make it yourself. When I was in India, sometimes there was no electricity. And now I can produce my electricity almost all the time, except when the weather is like that. I mean, it takes more time, but still, I can sustain myself more, even if I'm cycling. I got the food, food is so expensive here. In India, it was really cheap, like 10 times cheaper, maybe. And here, I was like, oh my God. And then I look on the dumpsters, I was like, what? There's so much food. So that's from the dumpster. All of that is from the dumpsters. Bread, I got some cheese, I got some yogurt, I got some fruit, vegetables. I have all I need. And I don't pay a single cent for that. And I give it to some people. You can see cherries. I put the box in the street because I have so much food. I don't want to leave it in the dumpster. I clean it, and I give the best to the people. And I take the worst because I don't care. I mean, I just clean. I'm not like, oh my God, there is something on the apple, So that's what I do here because it costs so much otherwise. So I can save money. I can be more free like that. So you can see some food, my favorite breakfast. Then I camp because if I cannot be hosted by someone, I can stay outside. I don't care to stay outside now. I don't care about that. It's just I want to be in the city because I can share with you. Otherwise, I can't. If I go outside in the nature, who am I going to share with? So my project is to share, so I have to be in the city. And I'd like to be outside. I can tell you that I don't like cities, but I don't have the choice if I want to do that. So that was in Turkey, but you can see all the bags like that. So that's all my stuff when I'm traveling. Here I could not bring everything, I'm sorry, but so that's my stuff for a few years. And I can tell you that's too much for me. I'd like to get rid of many stuff, but I need the tools, I need the pharmacy, because even if I don't use the pharmacy, when I hurt myself, I have to, we never know. Like some landscape on my way. Of course, it's sometimes difficult to go up to the mountains, but when you are up and you see that, you are like, oh my God, that's great. I've done that, and you know it is when you are climbing the mountains. Like you're doing your hike. You know it is. I don't have to share that with you, but still, it's good to share that emotion that we all know. You're like, oh my God, I did it with my legs. We don't need a car, we don't need petrol to do that, and you feel so free. I've been doing 10,000 kilometers with that. I don't have to spend money now because I have the bicycle. I mean, just to repair some stuff sometimes, but so no matter if there is snow or not, I met some people sometimes on the way. Some guys from Netherlands. That was in Iran, on the border. So that's Armenia. This is Iran. It's so dangerous, Don't be scared. Don't listen to people. Oh my God. On my way, people are like, "Be careful in the next country. Be careful in the next city." And you're like, "Okay." And then you arrive there and like, "What's wrong?" And I said, "Look, I'm still alive, and I've never been stolen or anything." So that's my website, a part of my website, the news page. Now I improve it. I give the number of kilometers. I put a map to show people where I am, where I've been, and all the way I've been, all the cities I've been to. The Facebook feed, Twitter feed, Instagram. So I also go to television. I've been maybe 20, 30 television, some TV shows sometime, radio, Skype, because we don't realize we can all do that. So Gandhi was, I told you who is it. You know Gandhi, I guess, Mahatma Gandhi, who worked to bring the peace and bring the change by peace. So he was saying, be the change you wish to see in the world. You can complain. People like to complain. I like to complain sometimes. But I realized that I can also change things. I can act different. I heard a lot of people, oh my God, I cannot do this. It's like, oh, my family this, oh, my friends this. We always complain for others, but we can actually be the change. We can actually change ourselves. When we complain about something, that's because of us. We complain because we don't like something. If you just say, I don't care, or I'll change it. Oh, people are so sad everywhere. Okay, I can smile. So it's that easy, And it's that easy with everything. Of course, you have to work, and practice that. But it becomes easy after a while. And it's like the same when you hike for the first time. It was like so hard. The first day it's so hard. But after it's like much easier. And it was the same for me. I never biked that much before. And I was like, I know I can do it. Why I could not? Many people did it, and why I could not do it? Even if my knees was like really painful before I started, I was like, no, I'll take care of my body, and my body will bring me where I want if I take care of it. I mean, not always, but... So that's what I wanted to share with you. We are facing huge problems that you don't even realize. And I can tell you, if you look at it, it's like, you have to, okay, we face that, but we can go through. We can do something. And even if we change, the effect of the past still remains. So we have to act like the opposite way. We have to be the best we can. That's why I have to do it by bicycle, because there is no other choice. If I'm selfish, I'll take a car and like, oh my God, but I'm selfish for myself too, because I don't experience the way. But in the same time, I can take care of nature, I mean more, and take care of you, because nature is also there for you, not only for me. So you can get that, we can all be that change, and I say thank you. So merci in French. So do you have any questions? No?
I have a question.
Yeah, go for it.
What was your favorite country you cycled through?
So that's really personal, but because maybe you won't like it yourself, but I'll take the map for that. Serbia was one of them. India, it's a great experience, but it's really tough. India is like crazy. People are like 1 billion people there. It's like crowded everywhere, noisy all the time. Even like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, like temples make some music, people make parties. It's like really, people are really happy there. But even if they are poor, it's like always crowded and noisy and polluted. It's like pollution everywhere. But it's a great experience. People have what a wonderful heart. And coming here in Canada, like that big gap is like, oh my God. But still, people are really good in Canada, so it's like different. But Serbia, so Serbia is in Europe, just before Turkey, like Bulgaria, Serbia. It should be that pink one. So Serbia was great, but I don't especially like the language Serbian. You have to learn, so depending on that. So East Europe is really nice. I mean, I will say that since I left Western countries, it was better and better and better, because you realize that people have a bigger heart, and so you go away from materialism that we have in our countries, and you realize that people are more human in these countries, and you're like, wow, I don't need all that stuff, to be happy. I already realized before, but yeah, it was a great experience.
Was there anything that was hard to give up?
I never give up, but
No, not to give up, but to give up for this kind of lifestyle. So
what was hard to give up?
Either materially or lifestyle.
My point of view is that everything can make you stronger. And if something is difficult, like the first time I went to a mountain with a bicycle, I was like, oh my God, and it was 10 o'clock in the evening, I was in the middle of nowhere, and somebody was waiting for me to host me, and I was like, oh my God, why I'm doing this, And I was like, look where you are free, and, so it depends what you want to focus on. But what was the hardest? I don't know. The hardest is to be for such a long time moving, because you move all the time and you cannot build something so I try to focus on the fact that I put the seeds. I share something, and this thing maybe will go to something else. So I bring the change to people. I inspire people to be that change. And that's maybe the best gift I have, when people, after you came, I did this, and but yeah, the most difficult is maybe to be always somewhere else and moving all the time, because it's not about being out of my comfort zone. it's more about like not be able to build something. So as I was saying before, I want to be in somewhere in Central America. I want to live there, so I want to settle down there. I don't know where yet. I will see where I feel good and where people need the most. But I want to build a community. So just to show you what kind of things I want to do there, it will be better than just words. It's a project made in Bali. It's just a school, but it's coming. Oh, yes.
Do you need sound?
No, there is nothing special to.
Okay, it just needs to be plugged into your.
Whatever, it's not important. There is no special sound. Just to share, they're making the electricity, they're making the buildings with bamboo. That's a school. And the kids are in nature, so they connect the kids to nature, they learn through nature, they do farming. Of course, like they have a lot of money, and they are 20% of locals. So I want to do the same kind of thing. So if you look on permaculture, it's mainly based on permaculture, so holistic. So it means that you try to connect everything. Kids with nature, like sustainability, nature, everything, and try to work in a better way. So that's kind of things I want to build in Central America, because we can. So I want to do this, maybe not the same kind of buildings, but I want to be maybe into the nature and try to make a community sustainable, free, so free to be, free of, free to be, basically, and try to have education, more like a learning center, like here, and have the tools to help them to grow. And then, I don't know, many things like that. So I will see where and when, and that's it. But that's basically what I want to do rather than being in Belgium working and making money. Something else?
What's the scariest thing you've experienced while you're traveling?
I was not that scared, but I can share something, was to be close to elephants. So I was somewhere, I knew that there was elephants, and I camped, and I was like, okay, I'll be there, the elephant don't look to come here, and like a few hours after, I heard the elephant, I was like, oh my god, and I was like, okay, like, relax, and I mean, at least you go outside if you heard some noise, and there was tigers also in India, so it was in India, and I was like, okay, I didn't think about it, but I was close to tigers and elephants for a big part of my travel in India. I didn't think about it, but sometimes it was quite scary. Once I had some termites eating the tent, so it was eating the floor of the tent. I was like, what? I heard some noise, and I moved my mattress, and there was like thousands of termites on the floor, and I was like, oh god. And then I moved the tent, and then for two times. So I moved the tent like 2 times, and it was like, okay. But otherwise, sometimes when I try to be hide in the nature, like that people cannot see me, and also try to be away from like animals and everything. I try to hide and like be protected with natural elements. But here it's like the bear, so I have to be careful, especially after winter. But that's life. You can die crossing the street, so I won't stop for that. But you just have to be careful and like be prepared, especially here. But I will say that's maybe the most important. Sometimes when I hear people around, or I'm like, okay, I take my knife. I'm like, okay, let's be ready. I don't know what I'm gonna do, but still, it's sometimes you're scared also about countries. Like I said, this country is dangerous. People are over there dangerous, and you're like, you think about that, and you're like, you are scared. Quite scared, and you're like, okay, don't think about it. It's like it's gonna be alright. So basically that's it. Something else? No?
Do you speak any other languages besides French?
Only French and English, and then I'll learn Spanish in about a year. When I'll be there, I'll have time to learn when I'll be there. No, that's it. I don't want to. I learned some language, some words in the different countries when I was staying for a long time. But I was so busy with everything that it's hard to learn the language, especially when you move all the time, because you learn new things all the time. So I can't. Yes?
Being in other countries, do you ever lose your regular accent or catch on to another accent?
I mean, you can hear that my French accent is not really there, and because I've been to Australia 10 years ago, I try to avoid that accent. You know, like I have to concentrate if I want to speak with French accent, but no, losing it, no, not especially, not after like just few years. You need like a long while without speaking it. But anyway, if it happens, you know, who cares?
Yeah.
It's just an accent, you know.
I've been told I pick up on accents really fast.
Yeah, also, yeah. I mean, you have to listen, you know, but yeah. Yes? So, of course, like, I forgot that I made some sponsoring. So I had some gift from some shops, small shops. And I made a party also before to go, so to collect a bit of more money. So now I spend about $4,000 for 16 months. And I could reduce it if I wanted to, but you need more time. So you have less money, you need more time to get what you want, because you have to ask or try to find it. But food, for example, I think I could find food everywhere in the world for free. Like I do here. You can ask the restaurants, you can do some dumpster diving, especially here. Like so much waste, food waste, especially good. What else? I mean, and camping, so I don't need money for that. So most of the time, I mean, it was about $1,000 for the plane. So it's like $3,000 only for the rest, like to repair the bike sometimes and everything. So it doesn't really cost something when you want to travel. You can go in the mountains for almost nothing. You just get your stuff that you already have, and then just get some food, like maybe for not especially a lot of money, and then you can go for a while. Or you can travel the world like that. Some people no bike, they just hitchhike. Or I mean, there are different ways. It just depends on your comfort. But I don't need to sleep in a king size bed to have a good night. You know, I can sleep on the floor. I don't care. I can sleep outside, but of course it's cold. But still, you survive. So you know, comfort is like what you want. No? Nothing else? No question about what I said, or like maybe I said some mistakes. I'm not right for everything. I'm not perfect either, you know. And I'm not telling you to go bicycle by yourself, but just to try to inspire that we can just make it different. We can be all that change, even if we struggle in our life.
Could you share one of your memorable couch surfing experiences?
Ooh, you know, we are over 100 people. It's hard to say. I will say basically that I didn't do couchsurfing before to start. I mean, once, and I realized how people are human and so kind. Most of the time, you know, they don't like couchsurfing. People don't expect anything. So couchsurfing, basically, I didn't talk about it, but it's like it's a network, like Facebook. You have a profile and you can ask people to be hosted anywhere in the world. It's over 12 million people over the world, and almost all countries over the world you can ask people to be hosted for free. So people don't expect anything when you go there. And then you can actually bring whatever you can. You can bring your smile, you can bring some beers, you can bring whatever, food or just some time or whatever it is. So I will say that maybe the best thing I remember is the kindness of people over the world. And you know, I remember like the first few times people open the door and like, welcome, you know, like this is your bed, this is the key, you know, like not everybody, but many people they trust. And of course with couchsurfing you have like references, so you can trust it in an easier way. I mean, I have like a lot now, so a lot of references, so it's easier, but still it's a great experience, the best, I don't know, like when people bring you a bed, like a beautiful bed and some food, like you're better in a hotel, you know, it's like, wow, I don't need all that, but thank you. You know, and then after they, oh, you want some food for traveling, and you want this, and they want to give you a gift, and I'm like, oh, I cannot carry all that stuff. But yeah, it's just like amazing, and you realize the beautiful part of the world, you know. Especially, I mean, just basically traveling the world and being with people, you know, because I'm never with, most of the time I'm not with other travelers, I'm with locals. You are locals, you know. So, and I don't see any difference, no matter who you are, from India, Iran, I just see a human. You know, there is, for country, there is no, there is no country for me. Country is just a name. There is no borders for me. No border is just like, given by states. So anyway, yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. It's a pleasure.
Very much.